somehow the car got released in all the mix, and let's just say the federal government missed it.
Hey everybody, it's Jordan and Rollie from Mercedes-Benz Edmonton West. We're doing a bit of a different style video today. We're going to do more interview, talk show style. And the reason I chose this is because there's a lot of new Mercedes and AMG news that's coming up in 2020 here. So we want to cover that. And we also want to dive into Rollie's brain because he has been here for almost a quarter of a century. He's been representing Mercedes since 1996. So he's got a lot of knowledge and insight that we want to tap into. And Rollie, is there anything you want to say?
No, I'm happy to share with our audience kind of a little history and pedigree of the industry of Mercedes cars. I certainly don't deem myself as a car guru. But I know Mercedes well, so when people ask me a lot about other vehicles, I kind of say, well, I represent the best product in the world, and it might sound a little snobbish to the audience and people, but I truly believe in knowing our product well.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, right on. I would say you have probably one of the highest trust levels out of everyone in this dealership, just based on who you are and how much you know. So all right, so let's dive into it.
Sure.
This is some news that we know, so I'm going to start really from the most relevant. We know this is coming, factual stuff, and we're going to take a deep dive into what might be coming from Mercedes-AMG. So to start out, let's talk about the 2020 and 2021 GLE models. So right now we're in the 4th generation, W167.
That's right.
And so we have GLE 350, 450, and 53. However, we know for a fact that the GLE 63S SUV and the GLE 63S Coupe are on their way. We also know about the GLE 53 Coupe that's coming out later this year. So, I mean, they look amazing. The Coupes have always been a favorite of mine. Do you have any thoughts on the new look of the GLE platform?
Yeah, it's funny because when they first started out with the ML, which is the predecessor, and then eventually more to taking the G and making it kind of in line with all the nomenclature and numbering, lettering. This GLE in my career certainly, and they've been manufacturing actually the ML and GLE for almost 25 years in Alabama. Mm-hmm. So it's a one production factory, which is in the USA, in fact, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And when the factory was first launched in the mid-90s, and then they started bringing the SUVs to the North American market and then eventually worldwide market, this GLE is outstanding. The quality, fit, and finish. I used to be a proponent of it's got to be the best cars that come out of Germany, and I still hold true to certainty with some vehicles, but the GLE, it's the best I've ever seen that vehicle in terms of technology, ride, comfort, and value. I don't want to date myself, but I've kept pricing from all those years all the way and move it forward, and in relative dollars. And I'm certainly not using any company, but this would be perfect example. I used to buy these very inexpensively. Now this technology has morphed into almost 5 times the price, but yet our GLE hasn't. It's got high strength steel. It's touchscreen. It's got verbiage where you can talk to it. The connectivity, and as much as I don't want the consumers to drink the Kool-Aid, it's fact. Mm-hmm. Especially during this pandemic, people are shopping more online. You're more interactive with your vehicle, just as you are with your phone, your homes, thermostats, lighting.
Yeah.
So this GLE is really quite outstanding, and safety. That's always been Mercedes' forefront. Mm-hmm. As you know, I brought a photo album last week.
Yep.
I was going to post some stuff on Instagram about kind of the Throwback Thursday, 20 years, and I think I showed you that picture You know, we did the stress test where you put the car at an angle and you teeter-totter it, and you open the rear cargo gate, and that's the biggest exposed component of an SUV, right? It's weak. It's like a cardboard box. You cut a big hole in it, and on the ML and GLEs, you could open the gate and you could close it.
Yeah.
And you'd have equal lateral distance and fitting on both sides. That just gives you an idea of the quality and the strength and rigidity that they put into the car that you never see.
Yeah, makes sense. No, that's very cool. I mean, like, you know, the stress testing that they do is, I say, like the highest quality out there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have photos of the new GLE platform. It's specifically the coupe platform on the 63 and the 53, and it just looks amazing. It's cool, and it's definitely going to live up to its heritage and its history. So, okay, right on. So let's move to the 2020 GLS. This is also something we have confirmed from Mercedes and AMG. We right now we have the GLS 450 and the 580. And it's in its third generation. It just came out, X167, and we know of two upcoming models that will for sure be released. We have photos as well. There's online reviews. One of them being the GLS-63, which, like, you know, they're going to do that no matter what. I'm assuming with the GLS platform, you know, replace the older GLS-63. So we're going to get that new one. And then we're also going to get a new, like first generation GLS 600 Maybach, which is Mercedes ultra luxury lineup. And we have full photos, full online reviews. Do you have any thoughts on these two flagship SUVs?
Yeah, you know, when you think about these SUVs, like, what's the purpose? Well, let's face it. Because you can. These vehicles cater to a very exclusive buyer. When they came out, we were actually, in fact, the first manufacturer to ever come out with a 7-seater high horsepower V8. And people would say, well, that's crazy. No, we, in fact, proof positive in the last 4 or 5 years. We've sold every one, and now it was the prelude for other manufacturers, direct competitors to Mercedes-AMG, to do the same. And to bring the Maybach, it was a statistic I read. It's the most expensive SUV ever produced in the USA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Maybach just takes it to the next level. And for a lot of people that don't know the Maybach car company, it was, you know, after the war, it was ravished, and then they resurrected that name and pulled it off the bookshelf and dusted it off, and they launched the first Maybach back in, I saw the car in Canada, would have been at sometime in 2004. And very pricey car, $500,000. And, you know, again, you move the needle forward to 2020, and these cars now, the level of customization you can do in these vehicles, the very expensive leather swaths, the woods, it just gives that buyer the opportunity to say, yes, I've arrived. I can buy that car. And people do.
Yeah.
They certainly do.
And I know that we only ever see 1 to 2 come through our dealership in Edmonton a year.
The Maybach?
Yes.
No, we've had 3.
We've had 3.
We've had 3. Yeah.
We've had 3. So,
yeah.
Do you think that number is going to go up when the SUV comes out?
You know, I certainly believe so. We've had lots of interest even in the Maybach S coupe.
Okay.
We've had people that have inquired about the Maybach, the Vision vehicle that was launched at the concours. And also to our audience, this is we're talking about Canadian cars. There's much different variants and variations in Europe and Asia, so this is purely we focus on the Canadian market. But yes, especially this part of the world, Edmonton, you know, or Canada and Alberta, we were last year the 3rd largest market for AMG in the world, and we were on par with China. And I think now this year, obviously, you know, because of the consumerism in Asia, they're probably going to take lead over Canada, but that's a big market.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll see some of those models later, and we'll definitely do videos if we do receive them here, which I'm hoping we do.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
he'll be filming it. Trust me. Yes, they're coming.
All right. All right. Okay. Another thing that was just confirmed and released exclusively online was the 2021 GLA. So this would be, I believe, the second generation of GLA. And so it's been announced they're going to also go to the AMG side, and they're going to have a GLA 35. And do you know anything further about this? As far as I'm aware, it's just the 250 and the 35. Are they going to further that lineup?
Well, you know, I certainly am not an insider to the AMG, and a lot of the guys that do have that inside information, but it wouldn't shock me. You know, market share wise, hot hatches and SUVs, they've brought just about every AMG to the Canadian market. So I would anticipate, yes, that GLA 45 will come in due time. Maybe not for 2020, but perhaps in the later part of 2021, that we could see that, and you know, but time will remain, and we'll see. But the 35, I think, is going to be exciting. That's a great little rocket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have an A35, and that it's so fun. It's like a little go-kart, you know.
It is, and it's very well crafted. You know, obviously that car is going to cater to that individual that likes hot hatches, and again, proof positive shows that the RS3, the wagon, the Golf R. What else was it? There's one more, but at the top of my head. But I've had the chance to drive that A35, quiet, but around this area, the industrial park here on a Saturday morning, and oh boy, that's a fun car. Like
Yeah.
4-cylinder, 300 horsepower, and what, 295 foot-pound torque. That thing just rods around, and just literally, it's fun. Fun factor 10 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right. And along a similar line, let's also talk about the CLA 45s. So it's the second generation of the CLA-Class C118. And so we've had the new 2020 CLA 250 here. We've sold some, and we have one or two CLA 35s that have come through. But a funny story, because you know everyone out there probably knows about the CLA 45s. You know the content's out there. So funny story, we had a CLA 45 show up months before anyone else in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It just randomly showed up at our dealership. It was in our showroom. We sold it. Do you want to talk about that story?
Well, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but you know, somehow the car got released in all the mix, and let's just say the federal government missed it, and it got shipped to us, released without having compliance. But the great thing is that we were able to showcase it, touch it, see it. We didn't drive the car. It was in the showroom until Mercedes Canada realized, oops, we sent the car a little prematurely. But the good thing is that we were able to show it and hear it and touch it. So
yeah, it's a cool experience when you get to know you're the first person in a whole country to see a car, and yeah, a very special thing. So we're excited to see more come through here soon.
And we were in Valencia, and they sequestered our phones, and we signed documents of confidentiality.